The greatest teaching of the Buddha, unraveling life's mysteries. Have you ever felt like life is an endless cycle of joy and sorrow, success and failure, love and loss? One moment, you're overwhelmed with happiness, but before you know it, you're caught in anxiety and disappointment. Why do we keep getting trapped in this cycle? Is there a way out? The Buddha, the enlightened master, dedicated his entire life to finding the answers to these deep questions. And through his profound wisdom, he left behind a teaching so powerful that it serves as a roadmap to true liberation and peace. If you grasp these truths, you will no longer be shaken by the ups and downs of life. Take a moment to reflect, what truly brings you peace? Is it wealth, success, relationships, or something else? Or does real peace lie in a place you've overlooked all along, within yourself? This video will unveil the greatest teaching of the Buddha, one that can completely transform how you see life. Stay with me until the end. Because what you're about to hear could be the key to breaking free from suffering and discovering lasting serenity. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. What is the biggest source of anxiety in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments so we can learn and grow together through the Buddha's wisdom. And if you find value in this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future insights on Buddhist teachings and their practical applications in daily life. If this message resonates with you, hit like and share to spread these valuable lessons to others. Now, let's begin our journey into the greatest teaching of the Buddha. The first noble truth, the reality of suffering. The Buddha taught, life is suffering. But this statement is often misunderstood. The Buddha was not being pessimistic, he was pointing to a profound truth: everything in life is impermanent, and clinging to anything leads to suffering. Have you ever felt joy upon achieving something, only to later fear losing it? Have you ever loved someone deeply, only to experience heartbreak when they left? These experiences are not coincidences, they are manifestations of suffering, an inherent part of human existence. Recognizing suffering is not meant to make us despair, it is meant to awaken us. Understanding suffering beyond physical pain. Suffering is not just physical pain or emotional distress. It manifests in three primary ways. 1. Dukkha dukkha, suffering of suffering. The most obvious form of suffering: pain, illness, aging, death, grief, and loss. 2. Viparinama dukkha, suffering of change. Even pleasure is fleeting. Happiness fades, relationships shift. Youth disappears, and circumstances change. The very nature of existence is uncertainty. 3. Sankhara dukkha, suffering of conditioned existence. A subtle yet profound suffering that arises simply from existing in a world where everything is dependent on causes and conditions. No experience is truly independent. Everything is subject to decay and dissolution. Clinging and attachment, the root of our pain. The Buddha identified attachment, tanha, as the cause of suffering. When we cling to things, whether material possessions, relationships, status, or even our own identity, we create suffering. We suffer when we desire something we don't have. We suffer when we fear losing what we cherish. We suffer when we try to hold on to things that are destined to change. Everything is impermanent: health, wealth, emotions, people. The moment we recognize this truth, we begin to loosen our grip on the illusions that bind us. The illusion of control. One of the greatest sources of suffering is the illusion that we can control life. We try to dictate how things should be, resist changes we dislike, and chase after permanence in a world that is inherently impermanent. The harder we resist reality, the more we suffer. Let go, not in resignation, but in wisdom. Acceptance is not weakness. It is freedom. When we stop fighting against the nature of life, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Facing suffering with awareness. Many people attempt to escape suffering through distractions, work, entertainment, relationships, even spiritual pursuits. But the first step to liberation is not avoidance, it is understanding. Instead of running from suffering, observe it. Instead of fearing loss, acknowledge its inevitability. Instead of resisting change, embrace it as part of life's flow. Only by fully recognizing suffering can we move beyond it. Suffering as the gateway to liberation. The Buddha did not teach about suffering to make us feel hopeless. He revealed suffering because it is the starting point of awakening. The moment we see suffering clearly, we can begin the path toward freedom. Suffering is not a dead end, it is a doorway. And walking through that doorway leads to the deeper truths of existence, the possibility of liberation, inner peace, and ultimate freedom. To end suffering, we must first understand it. That is the beginning of wisdom. The cause of suffering, attachment, is an invisible chain. The Buddha taught that the root of suffering is not external circumstances, but the mind itself. It is not life that brings us pain, but our reactions to it, our cravings, aversions, and delusions. We suffer because we cling to things that cannot be held. We feel disappointed because we expect the world to remain unchanged. We experience anxiety because we fail to understand the natural laws of existence. All of this is attachment, like holding onto a rope so tightly that it cuts into our hands, yet refusing to let go. If we wish to be free from suffering, we must learn to release, not to abandon everything, but to let go of control and unrealistic expectations. Only then can the mind find true peace. 1. The root of suffering, craving, aversion, and ignorance. The second noble truth, samadhi, states that suffering arises from three primary causes. Craving, tanha, the endless desire for pleasure, possessions, recognition, and even permanence. Aversion, dosa, the resistance to discomfort, pain, change, and anything unpleasant. Ignorance, moha, the fundamental misunderstanding of life's impermanence and interdependence. These three poisons fuel our suffering. We crave happiness but reject sadness. We want security but resist uncertainty. We seek control in a world that is constantly changing. This inner conflict creates endless dissatisfaction. 2. Attachment is the chain that binds us. Imagine holding on to a hot coal, hoping it will not burn you. This is how attachment works. We cling to relationships, fearing they will end. We attach to youth, resenting the passage of time. We grasp at success, dreading failure. Yet, nothing lasts. No matter how tightly we hold on, everything slips away. This is the nature of all conditioned things. The Buddha compared attachment to a net. The more we struggle, the more entangled we become. Letting go does not mean losing everything, it means freeing ourselves from the illusion of control. 3. The illusion of control. Many believe that happiness comes from controlling life's circumstances. But control is an illusion. No one can stop aging. No one can prevent change. No one can hold on to moments forever. The more we try, the more we suffer. True peace comes from accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. A river flows effortlessly because it does not resist. A mind free from attachment moves with life instead of against it. 4. How to release attachment. A. See things as they are. The first step is awareness. Notice how every craving leads to suffering. Observe how attachment creates fear, stress, and pain. When you deeply see that attachment leads to suffering, the grip naturally loosens. B. Practice non-clinging. Instead of clinging to outcomes, relationships, and possessions, practice appreciation without possession. Enjoy beauty without needing to own it. Love deeply without trying to control others. Accept change rather than resist it. Life is like sand in your palm, hold it lightly, and it remains, grip it tightly, and it slips away. C. Cultivate inner freedom. Freedom is not about having nothing. It is about needing nothing to be at peace. When we stop chasing, contentment arises. When we let go of resistance, suffering dissolves. When we trust the flow of life, we are free. The Buddha's teaching is not about giving up life, but giving up suffering. 5. Letting go is liberation. Letting go is not a loss, it is the greatest gain. It means living fully in the present, without clinging to the past or fearing the future. Experiencing joy without being enslaved by it. Loving without possession, giving without expectation, and embracing change without resistance. When the mind is no longer bound by craving and attachment, true peace is found. Let go, not because you must, but because you are finally free. The path to liberation, the key to a peaceful life. How can we overcome suffering? The Buddha provided a clear path, the Noble Eightfold Path, an 8-step guide to living a life of wisdom, peace, and inner freedom. This path is not abstract or unreachable. It is a practical way to cultivate clarity, compassion, and liberation in everyday life. 1. Right view, samadhi, seeing with wisdom. Right view means understanding life as it truly is, free from illusions. Seeing that suffering arises from attachment. Recognizing that all things are impermanent and interconnected. Understanding that our thoughts and actions shape our future, karma. When we develop right view, we no longer chase illusions. We begin to live with clarity, acceptance, and wisdom. 2. Right intention, samma sankappa, thinking with compassion. Our thoughts shape our reality. Right intention is the practice of thinking in ways that lead to inner peace and freedom. Cultivating thoughts of kindness instead of hatred. Releasing desires that lead to attachment and suffering. Letting go of self-centered thinking, embracing wisdom and compassion. By shifting our thoughts, we reshape our experience of life. 3. Right speech, samavaka, speaking truthfully and kindly. Words hold power. Right speech means using language that creates harmony, not harm. Speaking the truth, but with kindness. Avoiding gossip, lies, and divisive speech. Choosing words that uplift, heal, and inspire. A mind at peace speaks with love, clarity, and mindfulness. 4. Right action, sammakamanta, acting with integrity. Right action is living in a way that causes no harm to oneself or others. Avoiding violence, stealing, and unethical behavior. Treating all beings with respect and compassion. Acting in alignment with wisdom and integrity. When our actions are guided by kindness, our life becomes a source of peace. 5. Right livelihood, samma ajiva, earning a living with honesty. Our work should support life, not cause suffering. Avoiding occupations that exploit or harm others. Engaging in work that brings ethical benefit to the world. Earning a living in a way that supports our spiritual path. A life built on honest work leads to a heart free from guilt and regret. 6. Right effort, samma vayama, striving for growth. Right effort is the dedication to self-improvement. Letting go of negative habits. Cultivating mindfulness, kindness, and wisdom. Staying committed to the path, even when challenges arise. Transformation comes from steady effort, not instant perfection. 7. Right mindfulness, samma sati, living in the present. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment. Observing thoughts and emotions without attachment. Letting go of regrets about the past and worries about the future. Fully experiencing life with awareness and clarity. When we live mindfully, we are no longer lost in distractions. 8. Right concentration, samma samadhi, mastering the mind. Right concentration is training the mind through meditation. Developing deep focus and stillness. Cultivating insight and wisdom. Reaching a state of true inner peace. A disciplined mind is a liberated mind. The path to freedom. The Noble Eightfold Path is not a rigid rulebook. It is a guiding light for living with wisdom, kindness, and inner peace. By following this path, we free ourselves from suffering and discover a life of clarity, balance, and true happiness. Enlightenment, seeing reality as it is. The greatest wisdom of the Buddha is simple yet profound. Suffering arises from attachment, liberation comes from letting go. And enlightenment is the realization of truth. Enlightenment is not an abstract idea or a mystical experience reserved for a few. It is the state of seeing clearly, living fully, and being free from illusions. The end of suffering, a mind unshaken. When a person attains enlightenment, suffering does not disappear from the world, but their relationship with suffering changes completely. They no longer resist the inevitable changes of life. They see pain and joy as fleeting, like clouds passing in the sky. They embrace life fully, without fear or craving. Before enlightenment, we are like a leaf caught in the wind, tossed around by emotions, circumstances, and desires. After enlightenment, we become like a mountain, steady, unshaken, at peace. Freedom from attachment, living without chains. What does it mean to let go? It does not mean to reject life, avoid relationships, or give up everything. Letting go means living without being imprisoned by attachment. You love, but without fear of loss. You enjoy, but without clinging. You work, but without being consumed by ambition. A free mind is one that holds nothing too tightly. Like an open hand, it receives whatever comes, allows whatever leaves, and remains at peace. The power of presence, finding peace in the now. The enlightened person does not dwell in the past or chase the future. They are fully present. They eat, and they truly taste their food. They walk, and they feel the earth beneath their feet. They listen, and they truly hear. Most people live trapped in memories or fantasies. Enlightenment is waking up to reality as it is, this moment, right now. Fully alive. Simplicity, the key to inner peace. Enlightenment does not require great wealth, perfect circumstances, or supernatural abilities. It is found in simplicity. A simple life, free from excess desires. A simple mind, clear and unburdened. A simple heart, filled with kindness and wisdom. The more we let go of complications, the closer we come to true peace. The ultimate teaching of the Buddha. The greatest teaching of the Buddha is not a doctrine to be believed, it is a path to be walked. Recognize suffering, so you no longer run from it. Let go of attachment, so you are no longer bound by it. Follow the path, so you awaken to truth. Enlightenment is not far away. It is here, now, waiting for those who are ready to see. Conclusion: the journey begins with you. Dear friend, enlightenment is not some distant goal, it is a journey that unfolds in every moment, every choice, and every breath. Begin by observing your own mind. Notice when suffering arises, when attachment takes hold, when resistance creates pain. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Practice letting go. This does not mean giving up everything but learning not to let things control you. Allow life to flow, without grasping or pushing away. Walk the path of the Noble Eightfold Path. Even small steps in the right direction can transform your entire life. True happiness is not found in external things. It arises from understanding yourself deeply. And that is the greatest gift the Buddha has left for humanity. If you found this video meaningful, like, share, and subscribe to help spread the profound wisdom of the Buddha. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.